Women, have you ever felt that your masculine energy is overpowering your feminine?
Men, have you ever wondered if your masculine energy is overpowering women? Have you ever wanted to know why they think that you may sometimes be creepy?
Hmm. If so, stay tuned for this exciting episode of Naked Talk. Naked Talk is where we get naked in a conversation of sexuality, intimacy, and relationship. We strip down and expose the bare facts so that you can learn what it takes for your love to thrive. I'm Elizabeth Wood.
And I'm Dan Powers with Beyond the Bedroom. Welcome.
Welcome. Tonight we are really excited to have our friend, mentor, fellow educator, Ed Feld with us. I'm going to introduce him a second before we pull him in online because I did a little homework. So let me unroll, unwrap Ed for you.
We're going to undress Ed?
We're not on this Naked Talk. So for over 25 years, Ed has assisted for-profit and not-for-profit companies and organizations to value the human-to-human connection as a means of achieving their next level of evolution. Ed works with management and corporate teams. He facilitates meditations. He brings awareness to difference and diversity training. He's committed to promoting diversity and inclusion in all workplaces, churches, community, governments, and non-governmental organizations. Ed also facilitates what he calls and coined deep process facilitation. It's Ed's unique method of uncovering and releasing blockages to unveil your fullest, authentic expression. It involves an eclectic blend of body-oriented awareness, voice dialogue, emotional release, and shadow work. So everybody, please welcome.
I want to say some of my stuff first, too.
Oh, you do?
Yeah, because without reading on paper, what Ed is for me, he's absolutely a mentor. He calls me on my shit when it happens, and he's great. He's there all the time for me, really understands his stuff, very knowledgeable about the area that we're going to be talking about tonight, masculine and feminine energies. So with that, I would like to go ahead and welcome Ed Feld to the program. Hey, Ed.
Hi, Ed.
Guys, I'm a little embarrassed. That was so cool. Wow, is that me?
Yeah, there you are, front and center. So welcome to yourself, Ed. Are you by chance bringing out a little bit of your embarrassed, shy, sweet, wonderful feminine?
Oh, you like that, don't you? Yeah, I am.
So tonight we have you joining us to actually talk about the dance between the masculine and feminine within each particular person, because you both have masculine and feminine energy. And then you're also going to talk and share with us a little bit about that balance and dance between partners. So without further ado, what is it that you have for us?
Well, for years, I've been a little suspicious of what I call the New Age community and energy workers, because I just didn't get it. I didn't understand that energy really is a real thing. And for the last few years, and if a little embarrassment about that resume you wrote, because every year or 2 years, I have to totally remake myself and become interested in something different. And the last few years, I've been devoting my study and my energy and going to workshops and learning from different teachers and bringing together all the lineages that I have been involved in the last, 30 years together into this study of energy, and especially the two energies of the masculine and the feminine. And I know what I'm learning more about is how energy either is going to attract to each other, they're going to repel, or they're going to be somewhere neutral with each other. I know when I go into that psych ward we call Costco here on Maui, the amount of energy that's floating through that building can be incredibly invasive to someone like me who's sensitive to energy. And I know I have to put a bubble around me to protect myself from this bombardment of all craziness in that psych ward called Costco. I don't think Costco would probably like me saying that, but
Probably not.
But I'm also interested in specifically two energies, the masculine and the feminine energies. And when I think of them in my own body, I think of my masculine energy is that part of me that projects into the world, that penetrates my essence into the world, that anatomically, when I'm making love, I'm penetrating my partner with my masculine energy. My receptive feminine energy is in my chest, around my heart. That's where I'll receive nurturance, that kind of thing. And it's the opposite for a woman. Her energetic masculine side, even though she may nurture her babies, really is coming from her chest, where she gives and gives and gives, and where she receives anatomically is in her pelvis. That's where she receives. So understanding that physically, but as well as emotionally, helps me to understand, read people around me, has made my own practice really taken off, and assists me greatly in my relationship with my partner Judith, who has a lot of masculine energy, as you both know. And if I try to out-masculine her, we're just in a battle of wills and fight. However, if I can just grow my masculine, and it's solid, it's clear, it's protective, it's holding space, it's not having to defeat the other masculine, she can then drop into her feminine and rest there. She can relax there. She can be held there and be nurtured by her own feminine. Understand?
Absolutely. So what I want to ask is, it sounds like I've heard you use the word king. It sounds to me, when you're stepping into that full masculine, maybe what you're calling the king, it's a mature masculine, because you're using the words protective, supportive, and that's different than, I've also heard you say, the warrior masculine, the king, or the fighting warrior energy. Can you talk a little bit about that?
Well, there's shadow sides to both sides. Yeah, when I'm talking about, and I know we have a workshop coming on the 14th, which I'll be presenting a lot of this material on. And I can't go too deep into the nuances of the different types of masculine and feminine, like the king and queen. But, I know Dan has a very strong warrior masculine side. And that's not negative. It's, I'm going to break through and do what needs to be done for the good of my mission. And that's really solid. It's not needing to win at all costs. No, but he's serving a mission that he has in his life. Someone who is in their shadow warrior will be competing, not willing to bend at all, maybe brittle or rigid, and not able to let go.
So there's two sides to the kinds of archetypes that you're talking about. The warrior has the positive, negative, or the shadow.
Even the king has
and the king has that as well. And it sounds like there is also, for the feminine side, you've got the queen and some others there.
The queen and her shadow side could be really selfish, controlling, could be the ice queen, impenetrable, not like you, Elizabeth.
Ed, you're so sweet.
But what's really cool is I'd love to demonstrate it now, because I know, Elizabeth, I'm revealing a little bit about you that probably everybody already knows, is that you do have a strong masculine side. Right?
I do.
You do, and you have a beautiful feminine side as well. But you'll often lead the world into the world from wanting to accomplish things, or that part of you is giving, and it costs you something when you can't be in your feminine. So you marry a guy, Dan, who has a really strong masculine, I mean, he's off the chart with the masculine energy naturally. And when it's really clear, it feels good to you to be able to drop into your feminine, I suppose, yeah?
Absolutely. You've seen it a number of times.
Mm-hmm. So even now, I mean, while you're on the screen, what would it be like for you, Dan, to just imagine you're in your protective, solid masculine, and maybe a burglar's trying to break into the house or something, and you're going to protect your house, you're going to protect your woman, and it's solid, and she may even at times be spitting out, I'm really worried, I'm worried about this, but you got it. You are clear, you got it. And just imagine that you're sending your energetic left arm around her right now.
Okay. Doing it.
Doing it.
Yeah.
And Elizabeth, what's going on? What happens inside?
So as you were describing what was taking place, I went into the panic. I mean, I know that well. The panic, oh, how's this going to play out? What do I need to do? And when you asked Dan to send that protective arm around me, able to drop some of that and lean into him so that I didn't have to do it all. I could lean in and just, I wouldn't say I'd be relaxed when a burglar came in, but allow him to have my back, to take it for me.
Right. And what would happen now if you just leaned into him physically and just let your weight be on him?
The whole way.
What do you notice in your body?
Calm, peace. Woo! There goes my hairdo. Calm and peace, and definitely loving. More loving, I would say.
In your own body?
In my body, absolutely. I can't say for Dan, but yeah.
And then what do you notice in the connection between you?
Well, I just slid my arm down his leg and gave him a nice squeeze, and
this is why it's naked talk. You should see what we're wearing below the shirts.
We have clothes on, people. This is all PG.
I can't see below our shirts.
Yeah, it's I'm sensing a warmth and an intimacy.
Connection.
Yeah, an intimacy.
From my side.
And even though your solid masculine is still there, it's like the yin-yang symbol, Dan. You have a spot of the feminine in the midst of the masculine where you can feel and sense and merge with her, right?
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
We actually find we've been building your course, not building, but putting together all of your texts for the course, and we've actually been talking a little bit about it. And we're both in incredible agreement, or we're like both thumbs up on how our relationship works so much better when that masculine, Dan's masculine is not overpowering mine, but Dan's masculine is there allowing my full feminine to come forward. It's actually the most beautiful part of our relationship, and I would imagine most heterosexual couples.
Yeah. Well, this works for gay couples as well, all kinds of couples. It's a matter of not gender, but energy. And so I've worked with this, and this is also an exceptionally good skill set to learn when I maneuver through the world, whether it's negotiating a contract with a company or just being able to read people and call up what energy is needed for me and watch them either be attracted to it, repelled by it, neutral to it, but I'm going to create a response depending on how I show up. Right?
So you also mentioned
so it works.
The outline.
It works I like it working too, of learning how to connect with a potential partner or how to ask for some intimate time with a partner. How do you ask? Are you going to ask from the masculine needy side? It's going to turn the feminine off. But asking for an intimate connection, sex with your partner from your strong masculine and she can drop into her feminine, you're going to create a better connection and polarity in bed.
Well, I can see it as well. There's times when I come home and doesn't matter, we're at the home together, and she comes out with her strong masculine, and I'm with my strong masculine, and we just are really butting heads and aren't moving anywhere, and we start getting angry with each other and upset. Yeah, so I can see that if we can keep that in mind and recognize, she does need to be in her masculine at that moment, then I can maybe even drop into my feminine or vice versa, and that'll help make things a little smoother, I'd imagine.
Well, I wouldn't encourage you to drop into your feminine, but I would encourage, also, as your masculine could surround and hold Elizabeth, her feminine has a way that can support you. Let's say you might be in your rigid masculine and stubborn, I want it my way and this. And if she tries to come in with her masculine, ain't going to work. However, if she were to come in with her feminine and just simply even just touch her chest and say, hey, big guy, what's going on in there? There might be a softening of your masculine where you can show up. Does that happen?
Well, the last part doesn't happen, but I was just going to say, were you there at our last argument? So, or heated discussion? So I like that suggestion of coming in. There are often times where I will ask something deeper because I know the situation, really there's something else going on. And when I'm in my more powerful feminine and not in the masculine, I can come to him and try to gain a deeper understanding with a quiet voice or with a more soothing voice to try and get out of him what might be triggering the crunchy response. But a lot of times, and most women do or might do this as well, we're reactive. And I might ask you, Ed, do you see that we're more reactive from that masculine?
Yeah, what I love about this body of work is, yes, we are reactive. Our emotional centers are triggered. There's a threat somehow. There might be related to some trauma in our past or whatever, and we're going to be reactive. Now, what we're going to be offering on the 14th is just the basic map of how it's going to work, how the masculine and feminine can work together, how it can work together within our own bodies, how to identify whether I'm in masculine or feminine, what is it I want to call up, and then the mastery of it is going to happen after the 14th, where you're going to all have chances to practice daily how to choose what energy you want to lead from. Rather than being reactive, choose, okay, who do I want to bring on board now? Even though I might be in a tense situation with Judith or a contract of some sort, how can I call on what I want to call on? So in the workshop, I'm going to provide the map. I got an incredibly great story to tell about the masculine and feminine that I'm excited. I wish I had more time. I would do it here. But also that we're going to be practicing, and this is not a nude workshop or anything like that, but this is more about energy. We're going to be practicing with each other how to read each other's energy and how to do the masculine-feminine dance. And one thing I really want to stress here is that masculine and feminine, there's no one that's superior to the other. They're both incredibly powerful, but in their own unique way.
Okay.
That's a reverse of what we normally think in our culture.
Right. And this is something that can be applied regardless of just a regular male-female relationship or male-male, female-female relationship. This can be applied in the workplace, at Costco,
with
wherever
your
it is you're at.
clients. So can you talk a little bit more about that? I know that you mentioned you were really cognizant of this before negotiating a contract, but how might people then go and use this in the workplace or as a parent?
So if I know that I'm going to be going as, I'm not, I have worked for myself for over 30 years, so I don't know what it's like to go to an employer, but I know how to deal with somebody who's holds the money strings in a corporate setting and gets something out of a contract. And a lot of it is just being able to read the energy of the other and come in and build a bridge. And not be a threat. From my masculine doesn't need to be a threat to, if someone says no to me, I would be asking and bringing in a little bit of my feminine and saying, hey, what's going on for you around this? I haven't heard about your response to my contract proposal yet. What do we have to do to work together to make it happen? Rather than being combative, I'm going to negotiate with using my energy and my skill set of my words to get what I want or get what we both want. Again, coming from my sovereign golden king rather than my warrior that has to go in there and win.
So in our society in general, so many women take on so much more of that masculine role.
Yeah.
I'm not going to say it's a trend, but it's been something that's gone on for quite a long period of time. So I imagine this learning is going to help each one of us as an individual, but then help couples reverse that so that we can bring more of this feminine energy to the world. After all, the Dalai Lama says that it's the feminine, that women are going to lead us into our highest evolution as mankind.
Yeah. That's right. And I'm glad you said, because you said it really right. You said it, feminine empowerment. It's not women's empowerment, it's feminine empowerment. And that means a woman really understanding her feminine nature and leading through that so she doesn't have to depend on her masculine for survival, to take care of herself. There are even... I believe, I don't have scientific research for it, but I believe that a woman suffers from so much having to lead from her masculine that she suffers in her feminine. Her feminine doesn't get enough time, attention for even her to understand the mysteries and the intuition and the beauty of her own feminine. Because it's not rewarded in society, it's not supported.
So your workshop, if you will, it could be called something like nurturing the feminine, supporting the powerful masculine. I know that's not the name, and we're not here to think of one, but
yeah,
it sounds like that's what you're offering all of us, whether it's a female body or male body, really nurturing the feminine within us and quieting the warrior masculine, again, both in...
We're not quieting it so much, but using it when it's appropriate.
Oh, yeah.
Where it's appropriate.
Yep, because there's a as you said earlier, there's a shadow side to the warrior as well as the stronger side to the warrior. So, thanks for that correction.
There's another really cool side to this, and as working with people around sexual issues, that a lot of times the sexual issues are not physical, but they may be energy. Some men that I've been working with who have had, for instance, erection issues, when I teach them how to access their healthy masculine, the erection issues disappear and they show up. So it's not just physical. Let's not take Viagra, but how about how to really, really embody the masculine and then watch what happens down below there. So it's the same thing for women. It's about working with sexual dysfunction through energy and understanding this masculine, feminine dance that's in our bodies.
So one of the things that I see from this, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, is but for the men that you're coaching, and this is something that I've coached men around as well, is if you're really trying to get that erection, if you're really worried about it, so therefore you're in kind of that warrior, I think, energy that's really pushing, pushing, pushing. I've got to accomplish something. I've got to get there. I've got to show up for my woman or
Yeah.
my partner.
Right.
That's where it's going to have a harder time. Whereas you can relax and be in that non-competitive, or hey, I'm just going to be here and support my partner regardless of what happens. Then you can relax and the erections can come.
Exactly. But add this extra piece of helping a man to energetically, and you did it very beautifully a few minutes ago, of embodying the masculine, letting all the other parts go away, whether you're annoyed at your partner or needy or whatever, you let it go, and I am here. You're solid. You're a mountain. And then your body's going to relax. You're not operating from fear, oh my God, it might not happen again. You're going to operate from a different part of you and erections.
Yeah, I can see something. I know one of our issues is driving. I'm a very confident driver, and I get very annoyed with other people at times who in Boulder seem to drive below the speed limit, as opposed to at the speed limit or above, like I do. And Elizabeth will get upset with me, and I will, I'm totally in my masculine at that point, and angry and upset, and almost, I would say, competitive. And she really does a great job of being able to get in her feminine and say, I'd really like you to not do that. It's scaring me. And where I'm not as good is being able to drop into that masculine, that positive masculine that is there saying, I'm here to support you, and I want to make
But he
you feel
does. You
safe.
do. But you do. You slow down. When I pointed out that it's scaring me and I'm becoming more uncomfortable, and I grab for that handrail more than one or two times, he gets it. Despite the fact that we're really all annoyed in traffic, he does come down and sort of react to, or not react. He responds to my request, but it's because I've learned to tell him, it's frightening me. I'm getting nervous. This is upsetting. Despite the other drivers not doing what we want them to. I get it. Can you slow down? So we're getting better in a lot of those aspects, and can't wait to learn actually even more.
Well, we've been doing it kind of naturally and not having terms for it. So it's really nice to start getting some terminology that we can apply to it and then be more conscious of it.
And it is fun to play with. Like I'll see, like I was at a restaurant and this wait person woman was kind of cold, icy, bitchy, and watching what happens when I just pulled on my masculine, and it was solid, it was clear. I wasn't judging her for being the way she was. I smiled. I had really, what some people call good energy, and she just softened around me. Then she became very attentive, and then hung around my table, maybe a little too much. But learning how to play with those energies impacts my environment around me, which is really cool, especially in an intimate relationship.
And it sounds like you're using it very consciously. I want to be careful of anybody misinterpreting that the word manipulating might be in there. What you're talking about is a conscious awareness, and from that place, that's where you play or interact with others.
Yes, and it has to be authentic. You can't just fake it of putting on my masculine. I have to already have that tool inside me, and I know how to help men and women access their masculine, feminine energies. It happens almost instantly when I get a group of people together, of watching it happen, and the interactions just shift. I especially love teaching single men how to approach a woman so that he might get a date or a connection that he may not have had before. So it's all, and it's fun. It really is fun.
So that it sounds, we're wanting to invite singles We're wanting to invite couples to the workshop that is going to be in Boulder on March 14th. You can find more information on the workshop on our website, bedevents.com. Ed Fell can be reached at edfell.com. So,
No. What email address would you like to let everybody know about, Ed?
Well, my website is edfell.com.
Okay.
And my email address is edfell3@gmail.
okay.
But my numbers and contacts are all on my website.
Okay.
Wonderful. So everybody, that about wraps up tonight's Naked Talk. We want to thank you for being a part of this potent conversation. Dan and I especially want to thank our friend, mentor, I don't know,
All around good Ed.
all around, yeah, phenomenal person. We are so happy that you joined us for this wonderful Naked Talk, Ed, and we look forward to participating and bringing out the most beautiful aspects of the masculine and feminine
Love you guys.
and between each other.
Yeah.